Morning all. Do you want to be the compare, France?
Do I want to do what? The introduction?
Or run the thing?
Yeah, so welcome everybody. This is the Friday office hour, the sort of pre-event office hour for the UNAFCO INSAR course. This is sort of your time to ask us questions. I know Lorna has a question because you have some issues with your notebook. But whatever questions you have, you can either put them in chat or you unmute yourself, speak up. We'll be here as long as there are questions.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
And so we have Gareth, so he's in Forest online, and Paul Rosen is around if we have a specific question for him. But I think your question is more mechanical about the notebook. So maybe Lorna, if you want, you can share your screen and we can try to help you.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so I have one question from one of the notebooks, and then I have a second questions overall. So this is the last one in the Python, which is module 2 for the pre-course.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to run cell 1, 2, and 3, but this one, which is, let me just, you can see, 4, it really does not show a bracket, and when I run it, it just moved to step 5. So
can you click on that one more time on the cell? Oh, do you see on the top where there's a drop-down menu that says raw?
That should say.
Can you change that to code?
oh,
No worries. I mean, this is something to get used to, and this one's the same.
wow, it was so simple.
Well, yeah, but I totally get why this is not easy to do.
So now you have to run it from the start, probably.
Oh yeah, you may have to run it from the get-go.
Because it's now it doesn't understand what NP means, and that's defined in the first cell, I think.
Yeah, try to go to the top and run from the top. It's just a few cells.
Should I just
click on one with the 1?
I think in this case you don't have to, but it is true that sometimes, so maybe let's talk about this briefly. If you get stuck somewhere around your notebook and you're sort of further down, it sometimes is safer to click on where it says kernel in the main menu and restart the kernel, restart and clear output just to start from scratch, so that you don't have any hidden variables in there, or you're not by any chance in a wrong folder, etc. And then start again from the top, from the first.
You can just keep hitting that play button. You don't have to click on the cell.
Yeah, but you have to start again from the beginning because you just restarted your kernel. And another little tip: when you click into a cell, you click always all the way on the left-hand side. The risk of that is that you can by accident fold a cell away. So it might actually be easier to click into the cell directly where the gray space is.
I see. Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and you
can just keep hitting play. You don't even have to click on the cell.
Right.
Okay.
Because it will execute the text as a cell as well.
And if you're too lazy to always move your mouse up there, which is totally what I am, you can do Shift Enter.
Oh, I got my
Windows machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever a code cell doesn't work, just make sure that it's actually labeled as code cell.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And the text cells should be labeled Markdown, which you can see there right now.
We don't actually use raw cells typically in the notebooks that we provide.
I see. So I just going to make one quick question because I don't want to use everybody else's time. I am way behind in order to finish everything and be able to ask questions. So I'm going to go through whatever I have left my question is, can I organize my questions on Monday in case I run something in the next days and am I able to submit my questions on Monday?
Well, we have office hours Monday.
Oh, and you mean your sort of pre-course assessment question?
Yes, yes, because I'm way behind.
Yeah, and by the way, so just to be clear, the pre-course assessment is not necessarily an assessment of you. So it's perfectly fine that you don't know the answer to many of those.
Okay.
What we're trying to do here is we ask you the same questions before and after the course. We are expecting that you don't know many of the pre-course questions, before you take the actual course. And what we are trying to do here is more assess the quality of the lectures that we provided. Each module is trying to teach certain things, and we basically, by asking you the same question before and after, we want to sort of find out whether you actually learned what we wanted you to learn.
Okay.
So if you get something wrong, this doesn't reflect on you at all. Actually, we don't even know the names who submitted questions. We just want to know, did overall the class improve from before to after?
Yeah, but you're referring to the pre and post test.
Yes.
I am talking about the actual notebooks. If I run into another issue, which we don't have office hours Saturday, Sunday, of course. I'm wondering if I can just make a list of the issues that are fine, if I am able to ask them on Monday.
Yeah, and you can also use Slack. You can post on Slack. People may check.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Hello. I have a question also.
Cool.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I will share my screen. Okay. Regarding this file, I had a problem firstly with the account, but I solved it. And I have these images, but after that I tried to download the Sentinel one. And when I try to download it, it gave me no scenes. Although I checked that there is a scene for that, sorry.
But if you change...
Sorry, what is that? Yeah, this one. I already checked there is a scene with the pass and the frame, so I don't know why.
That's a Sarah command.
Sorry.
You can change the download to, was it list? I can't remember what the syntax is.
Sorry, I have a problem with sharing. Sorry.
Is that Cicera? It was a Cicera call.
Yeah, it was a Cicera notebook.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a problem with sharing now. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the cell as it used to be. Did you change the file name?
Yeah. Yeah. I changed here then the dates and the frame and the pass.
So if you look at the date, I'm not. It says 01. Is that a problem, or should it be just 1?
I think that's probably okay.
Okay. No.
So Sarah is working. Is it Sentinel 1A or Sentinel 1?
Sentinel 1A.
Yeah, but the data set is Sentinel 1A, but remove the A and try again.
Okay.
It may be that there's no separate key in Sarah for A and B. Nope, didn't make a difference.
I tried different things, but it gave me the same. Strange, I don't know.
So we would need Scott Baker.
Yeah.
check here real quick with the notebook. So this is notebook. Sarah notebook. That's module 707.
Yeah.
So the keys are up there. Platforms. User example. Oh, it does have 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
See that? And you have orbit. So their definition of relative orbit is the path. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And start and end date. And then you do minus collection. Sorry, I need to organize my screen. Collection minus ISF. Can you go to the end of your command you're running? It cuts off at minus download.
I think that's
Yeah. You mean it's finished in download?
Yeah. Oh, it's just minus download. Okay.
Yeah.
Ready query. I minus B sentinel 1. A. So you probably want to put the A back on the sentinel 1. It's all capitalized minus R5. So you check those 65 and 494 numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I checked this.
And the dates.
frame. Sometimes frame numbers can be tricky. Like Sentinel frame numbers are a bit not consistent compared to other missions.
Okay.
I wonder, double check the frame numbers. Might be a good idea.
3, 12, 30, 2022, 125. Collections.
Can you search ranges of frames?
Not ranges, one frame.
Oh, is it collection or is it collection name?
Mm,
It has both, I guess.
I don't think that's the problem. If I was betting, I would think it was the frame number. But
Do you have your tab, your ASF data search tab? Can you switch to that real quick?
Sorry?
Can you switch to the ASF data search tab on your browser?
Yeah. This is what I did. It's the same.
Frame
Yeah, this.
for
Yeah.
path 65.
10122. Yeah. Okay.
January 1st, 2022. Go back to your other tab. Your notebook.
Yeah, I know, but okay. Yeah.
Can you search to January? Let's look at the formatting of the date. Yeah, you have to probably do 01 again. So my bad.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Can you change just for fun where you say collection? Can you do collection and then capital N, sort of collection name with a capital N as one word?
You mean?
Yeah, so change the keyword collection to collection name.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything. I just
Doesn't-
Version name like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. See if that
Okay.
works.
No.
And but go back to Sentinel-1A. You could also do Sentinel-1A, comma Sentinel-1B to be sure that
I've also done that and it doesn't do it.
it doesn't do it.
No, I've tried searching for a range of frame numbers. That's not working either.
Mhm.
This is one we will have to work on behind the scenes, I think.
So there was a have you tried the the file where there was sort of pre-coded? There was an NVSAT file to download.
Yeah, I tried it. Yeah, it's downloaded already.
So the NVSAT file downloaded, so in
Yeah.
concept it works. Okay. Oh, so you do -s -e.
Start and end.
Have you tried - start and - end instead? Oh, but it also worked.
Yeah.
It worked above with the NVSAT dataset too.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah. I don't know it's related to the username and password or not.
No.
Okay.
It's not related.
Well, did you accept the Sentinel? Can you go to Earth Data login? If you Google for Earth Data login, just to make sure that you've accepted the Sentinel license agreement.
Yeah, I think I accepted all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grant I'm running exactly the same command and I have
it's
accepted all those things.
Yep. Yeah, we may have to look into that offline.
Okay.
Of course, if you have the Vertex search working, you can copy the URL and download it at the terminal
Yeah. Yeah.
using like a curl command or a wget. And so long as your netrc file is set up correctly,
Yeah.
it should automatically download.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, it does say processing level 0.
Why does it say that? Not in the command that you're running.
It says it, yeah, in the running Sarah API query. You see that?
Yeah. Okay. Is there a way of setting that to be
Is there a flag that you can
level
set?
equals L1 or SLC? Yeah. Okay. Try that.
Sorry, try what?
Add a processing level key and set that either to L1 or L1.0, I think,
Or SLC.
or SLC.
SLC didn't work.
Yeah. Okay.
So I see there's L0 and then there's L1.0.
I'm trying them and they're not working.
They're not working.
SLC doesn't work. Level 1 doesn't work. Level 1.0 doesn't work.
Okay, I can download this from the terminal. Okay.
And then it says 2CL1 and then 2CSOC. 2CL1.0. Oh, okay. So this is what you reset now. L0%. Oh, maybe it's just right now searching for everything. And it couldn't find it either.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have to.
Yeah. Okay, I have another way to download the data, but yeah, it's weird for me. So, okay, I have another question regarding the final one, which is SAR theory. Where is the homework for this this chapter? Because I don't know.
SAR
Yeah.
theory.
Syllabus.
The which one? The
Because I found one
one or the
question
second one?
only. Yeah, because I found one question. So this is the homework, or there's another thing?
So there were two notebooks. One is kind of in-depth theory, where you run most of a SAR processor. Basically, there's a lot of signal processing in it. And the second one, the phenomenology one, that's the one that we would like everyone to do. The first one is kind of optional.
Okay.
And in that notebook, I can't quite remember what the.
Yeah, it says in evidences plot of old and new image with altered results.
You can
So
change.
exercise to alter the notebook provided to look for specific results, speckle filtering, processing bandwidth change, radar equation changes. So basically you run the notebook once the way it's given, and then you change something, you know, in the way it
Okay.
it's set up. You either change the bandwidth or you and run it again.
Okay. Okay.
And
Thank
then
you.
you get an image with the standard approach and an altered image, and those two you're supposed to submit.
I think the phenomenology notebook doesn't really have any. Oh, it has azimuth resolution. You can change numbers in that, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can change some of the numbers in some of those code cells.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
And we'll look into the Sarah issue. Forrest, have you worked with Sarah much?
No, I've always used the ASF search Python module.
Okay.
Yeah, the person who wrote it is no longer with UNAVCO.
Yeah, I know Alex had looked into Sarah a bit because there was another issue that they fixed. So either Alex or Rui might be able to help.
Mhm. For future courses, if we're just looking at Sentinel-1 data, it might be worth switching over to the ASF search module.
Yeah.
But I mean, the appeal is, of course, that it's one tool that can search everything, but that's only right if it actually works.
Yeah, and if we need everything.
We do need everything. I like old data. Defamation did not start in 2014.
That's true. But does our notebook use that data?
This just gives you, idea how you grab it, but yeah. So Alex has found another issue in Sarah, so maybe he knows a little bit or can help with debugging this also. I will talk to him today. Other questions? I see there's stuff in chat.
I've solved all the maths basics problems, but not been able to get or run in Jupyter. Well, that sounds like a big problem. From Ajay. Have you been able to register for OpenSAR Lab?
Are you not able to log in? What's the problem?
No, sir. I have registered, but not able to run the program. Like I have solved all the questions in notebook, but try to solve in Jupyter, so it is not working. Like I try to run, but it is not running. Like I didn't get options also.
Do you want to share your screen? Maybe we can help.
Actually, right now I am traveling, sir. So
Oh, okay.
I logged in with my mobile.
Okay. If you want on Slack, you can maybe share a screenshot of the kinds of things you're seeing, and maybe this way we are able to help you get Jupyter going. We'll need, the notebook set up next week, So whatever you can give us on Slack to try to help you out, we'll
Sure,
try
sir.
out.
Sure, sir. I will send it later, sir. I will send it. Okay.
And so if it doesn't work on Monday, we do have lectures on Monday, but we do have an office hour also Monday late in the day, our time at least. And maybe if that works better time-wise for you, then we can maybe try it there.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Other questions? Oh, there's a question about can you, oh, you already answered code for code cells, markdown for text cells. We don't use the raw flag in our notebooks.
Any more questions?
Raw never. More questions?
I imagine people will start to have more questions when the week starts.
Maybe, but if they can't run the notebooks now, then there are going to be problems. So it would be good to know if there are any issues with running anything, especially things pertaining to permissions. Francis,
Hello.
We can have sorry, I'm quickly answering a question in chat.
you should read it out.
Yeah, so toward the end of the course, we may be able to do that. Actually, installing ICE has gotten substantially easier these days. It might not be so hard to have either in a maybe in an office hour toward the end of the class we can demo how you would install ICE. Forrest, is that something we can do? Yeah, using
Yeah,
Conda.
for sure.
I tried using the environment file that's on OpenSAR and that installs everything, right? The UNAVCO environment, which you can install, uses the YML file, and it worked just fine. The only problem I think is that we have to patch some of the scripts to get the automatic DEM downloads to work.
Because that's not in the Conda release yet, or
That's not in the Conda release yet.
okay, maybe it's by the end of the week.
Well, Eric was saying that it got the Conda submission got rejected because of Fortran something. So it might be there might be a delay.
Excuse me, sir.
We can hear you not well, but we can hear you somewhat.
Yeah, myself Himanshu. Am I audible?
You're sort of echoey. It might be easier if you put your question in chat if you can, to make sure that we get it right.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, you get errors in the raster projection notebook, I guess. Are you in a position to share your screen? Yeah, why don't we try that?
That would be cool.
Okay, as the projection, that's module 4. Okay. Oops, there's some errors. So
That's working.
that's the working, and then here you get the errors. Some command line action was.
Okay, so it's just telling you that you're trying to run it on files that already existed.
Okay. If you scroll up a little bit to see what's happening,
Yeah.
to where you see the first star. in
That's
that.
running
Oh,
that is running a code cell as a markdown cell as code.
yeah. If you click on that cell, click on cell that's labeled 8. Yeah, click on that cell first, and then change this one. It says code right now. Change that to markdown. No, you have to click into the cell first.
No,
Mark the cell and then move it and then change it to markdown.
you have to click within the gray box.
Yeah, I think it's right now. Okay, and now run the cell.
And it will convert to text.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
then this is
one
just
thing.
text. So
These are all text cells.
yeah, that may be fixing the issue. Let's see, trying to find where you are. Geocode. Using geolocation arrays to geocode. Right. Yeah, this should
This is all text.
have fixed your issue.
At least this section of the notebook is only text.
Yep.
I don't
Is
know.
it fine? What?
I think this is good now, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's whether you have any problems later on. I can't tell because we need to move further down the notebook maybe.
I think what confused you a bit is that there's code rendered in a markdown cell to show you what the code looks like, but it's actually not supposed to be a code cell. This is a code cell. This one you should be able to run.
Yes. Okay.
Worked fine. Let's see here.
What's that?
Yeah, there is some error.
Aha.
GDAL is not. That means that you need to run this a cell further up the notebook.
Yeah, can you go all the way to the top? To the
Yeah,
top of
sure.
the notebook?
Whenever you see something like that, GDAL is not defined. It means it didn't establish. You have to run that first cell first, because you can see that line from OSGeo import GDAL, and if it hasn't run that, and then you try and use a GDAL command later.
Actually, it's loaded error. I think I found some error like load data is not there, something like.
So now that you reran that cell, go back to further down where you had the error. All to the bottom, near the bottom.
Where
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, and rerun the cell one more time. Yeah, so what sometimes happens if you start the notebook and you walk away, and there's no activity in your notebook, the kernel may just turn off. And when that happens, all of the work that you've done beforehand, the code cells are not active anymore, and you have to rerun those. So it sometimes happens if you walk away for too long and the kernel goes to sleep. But it's not a big deal because you can always rerun it.
So I have to do restart here.
No, you can go on. You established, you made sure that it understands again what GDAL is, and I think it works fine. The cell ran fine now. You didn't get an error anymore.
Okay. But I think there should be some.
Yeah, it's still. Do you see that next to
Yeah.
the code cell, there's a little star in the bracket? You see when
Yes.
you look next to the code cell, the two square brackets, and between those brackets is a little star. Do you see that? On the left-hand side.
In both of
Move
those
over to
gray
the
box,
left.
both of the gray cells have a square bracket next to them with an asterisk in it. Just to the left of your mouse and up a bit.
Are you talking about this cell? Sir?
Yeah, look to the left of where your mouse pointer is.
Yeah,
You
if
see
you just move your mouse to the left, a little more to the left. Move your mouse left
And up.
and up.
Not the cursor, the mouse. Let me see.
Okay.
And then move it up and to the left, a little bit to the left and up. You see this bracket with the star where your mouse is?
Yes.
So this shows you
Yes.
that the code cell is running. It's actually doing something right now. So it's not it's running, but it's not
Okay.
complete yet. You can also see that if you
You see the 13 that appeared above?
oh yeah, so it ran.
Yes. Now it's done.
Yeah,
it's
now
finished.
it's finished.
So it ran.
I think it should work now.
Yeah, I think it should work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you get an error message and it says things like it can't find GDAL or it can't find pandas or something like that, it doesn't understand what that is. It means that you either missed the code cell early on, or something happened, the kernel fell asleep, and you need to rerun loading all the libraries.
But usually those definitions of libraries are in the very first code cell.
Yep.
So the thing to do if you have problems like that is to go back to the top and run the first code cell again.
Yes. And so what about these two files? I think these two are the same files. Why
Yep.
two files are here?
Yes, so you see that you have the same file name, but then there's a long date string attached, right? So you see 2022-08. So the one with the date is an older version of the notebook. So this notebook was updated, and
Okay.
before it was updated, you had already run the notebook. So the every time you restart your server, it pulls in the latest versions of notebooks into your OpenSarLab instance. But if you have already touched the notebook, it's not gonna delete your notebook that you already changed. It keeps your old notebook and it attaches a little date to it. But the one without the date is the new one.
Okay.
So please run the one without the date. You can, if you want, delete the old ones if you don't have anything important in the old notebook. This is to make sure that if you made changes to a notebook, that we don't accidentally delete those changes and make sure that your work does not get deleted. So if it notices that the notebook was changed, it copies the notebook, attaches a little date to it, and then pulls in the new one.
Yeah, sure. So one more question I have. Actually, you have given 3 kernels here, like Python 3, UNAVCO.
Yep.
So basically, if we are using something in our system, so we should have some things including Python 3, right? But UNAVCO has every.
Yes.
Right.
So UNAVCO has
Yeah.
all the libraries and all the software packages that we need for this course. So when you go through the notebooks, make sure that the kernel always is set as UNAVCO.
And if it
Do
is
you
not,
have
then you will.
any guideline do you have any guideline if we want to create such kernel for ourselves? So which libraries and which software we need to install along with Python 3?
Right. So yeah, maybe I can. Let's do this. I think Zachary has a question. Once we're done with this, I can maybe take over the screen real quick and I can show you how you can
Yeah.
build a kernel.
Yeah, sure. And one more question, is this this platform, this Jupyter platform available to us after the training, or it is only for the training purpose?
So this particular one, the URL you're using, unavco 2022.asf.alaska.edu, that one will turn off maybe 1 or 2 weeks after the training.
Okay.
There's 2 ways of how you can continue to use the platform. One of them is we provide what's called a Docker container, which is basically an installed sort of a local version of OpenStar Lab. So it's like an install file that comes with instructions how you can install it on your local machine. So you can replicate the entire setup locally. If that doesn't work for you, we can talk after the training to see if we can give you access to sort of the ASF's official version of OpenStar Lab.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I just have a quick follow-up on one of the questions that was asked. So those older versions of the notebooks, if you've been working in them, say you got halfway through and then you log off, then it creates a new one. Should you just keep working in that old one and it won't create, I guess, new versions of the old one? Does that make sense?
It won't. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing is that usually when we push a fix, well, we push a new version, it's fixing something. So
Okay.
you might run into the thing that caused us to change the notebook.
I see. Okay, gotcha. So the best thing to do would just be to kind of start over with the new one, potentially.
Potentially. Depends
Okay.
how far you've got. There's a sunk cost, obviously. It might
Okay.
make it. Yeah. If you run into a problem, then you'll know why, I suppose.
I see. Okay, sounds good. That was my just very quick question. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else? I guess Francis is preparing some missive to explain how to.
Sorry, I got a call real quick. What was the question?
No, there wasn't a question.
Oh.
So I guess we could talk about. Shall I show them where the environment files are? Is that something?
Yeah. So, do you want to do it or?
I can muddle along if you have a call, unless.
No, my call is done.
Okay, you can do it then.
Yep. Sorry about that. Let me share my screen. And then Forrest can help me too if I say something wrong. So when you log into the OpenStar Lab environment, your let me close all of these. Your starting screen looks something like this. You have 3 main folders. I have a 4th one. Don't worry about this one. You have a folder that's called Geosync, which contains all your notebooks. Lost and Found, which is just if we, somebody posts something on GitHub and we don't know exactly where that belongs, we put it in Lost and Found. And then we have one that's called Conda Environments. So this allows you, the Conda Environment folder contains all the stuff you need to build different kernels. And so if you double click on that, there's a couple of things there. There is a notebook that's called Create an OSL Conda Environment, which is equivalent to saying create a kernel, a new kernel on the OpenStar Lab. And then we have a folder here that's called Environment Configs. So together, those two allow you to build whatever new kernel you want. Let me show you first what the notebook looks like. So if you open that notebook, it sort of walks you through the process of building a new kernel. And if I run this real quick, so the first thing it does, it looks up which kernels you already have installed. So I have installed a base kernel, which is a base Python kernel. I have the UNAVCO kernel installed. And then I also installed a separate one that I'm will be needing for one of the notebooks we are running later this week. It's called an AutoRift kernel. So those are the ones that I have installed already. And then it allows me to install additional kernels. And it offers me a list of kernels that or kernel config files that currently exist. And so you see I have a NISAR, I have an INSAR analysis, I have a train, an RTC analysis, a variety of different kernels that I can build. And these kernels are based on a set of environment configs that are in this environment config folder. So if I double click that folder and you look at the list of these kernels, you see that this list is identical to the list you see here in this list from which you can select different kernels. So say the AutoRift kernel, which is the one that I already built, it will include a certain set of libraries that are built into AutoRift, and which libraries these are defined in these environment YAML files. So I can open the AutoRift YAML file. The YAML file is basically a text file that says like the name of the kernel is AutoRift, and it gives me all the dependencies and all the libraries it should include. So it includes AutoRift, GDAL, Jupyter, Matplotlib, NumPy, pip, and pandas. And so here you can configure those to your liking. If you're building a new kernel, I would start with taking an existing environment file and then modifying it to whatever libraries you may need. So this here defines all the libraries that are included in a kernel, and then you can select that kernel. I want to build the AutoRift kernel. And then you can just go through these notebook cells. And so they collect all the information that's needed. So it collects all the libraries that are contained in a YAML file. And then it builds the environment based on the instructions in the YAML file. So you see here that in this bracket, there's a little star. So it's building the environment right now. You also can see that the kernel is busy over here. You see there is a solid black circle here. If the kernel is busy, the circle is solid black. If the kernel is idling, then the circle is empty. You only see a little thin circle around it, but the inside of it is empty.
So,
so here it's doing the install, and it uses Mamba to build the environment, and it's going to go through the process. Mamba is fairly fast, so you can just watch the environment being built as we are waiting. And I don't know, Forrest, if you want to say something in addition to that.
Did Forrest disappear?
Oh, Forrest may have left.
Yeah.
Or Gareth. So this is how you do it. The easiest way is always to take an existing YAML file and modify it to your needs. So if you build your own notebook and you need additional libraries that are not yet installed, you can take the existing YAML file, add those libraries in, rebuild the kernel using this notebook, and then go back to your notebook and work with that library that you just added. So just build the environment. The last thing it's doing, it's throwing away some temp files, so it's cleaning up. And I've built this little environment now. And if I wanted to, I could go back to a notebook. So this AutoRift notebook you'll see later in the class. This requires the AutoRift kernel. And so now that I built it, I can go to kernel, change kernel, and I can select the AutoRift kernel to use in this notebook now that I built it. Actually, it's just puked on me. AutoRift, there you go. And then I can run this notebook with this new kernel I created. Does that make sense?
Some pretty advanced.
Yeah, you don't have, for this class, you don't have to worry about this at all. We pre-built the UNAFCO kernel into we pre-installed that for the entire environment. We'll actually run this notebook once when we get to the AutoRift course, the AutoRift lecture. We'll be building a kernel, this AutoRift kernel, collectively as a class. And this way you can do that once if you feel like you want to build your own notebooks and work with your own code in the future. Other questions? We have 8 more minutes. If that's not the case, then we can give you 8 more minutes of your life back. Okay, if there's no more questions, then keep in mind we will be starting the class properly on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. There's going to be an email, I'm sure. Melissa, are you going to send out a reminder?
Yeah, I'll send it out.
And make sure that you're all on OpenSAR Lab. I think all of you are, so that we can get going on Monday right away with the first modules that we'll talk about. Okay, well, you all have a good weekend.
Yeah.
And we see you on Monday.
See you, everyone.